Hello. All right, I've tried this microphone, see if it works any better. If it doesn't, see if anybody will come back as well. All right, welcome back to the live stream. Sorry, I had microphone issues. The previous microphone was muffled, so I'm going to try doing this one. Basically, what I've said so far is I think the WNBA is as expected, that the Sun, Liberty, and Aces are the class. The other question I have, I think the Lynx and Storm are going to fight out for number 4. And then the other thing I think is the most interesting thing is who's going to be at the bottom of the WNBA. Can you hear me all right? Is this better than the last one? So with yeah, I'll just keep on talking, see if anybody comes back. I don't know if they will or not. And I'm not sure if the sound sounds any better. Make sure I'm not on mute. And there we go. Okay, so that's much better. Okay, all right, let's continue. Where were we at? What were we talking about? Was I talking about the Mercury? Was I talking about the bottom 4, I think, wasn't I? Is that right? Did you have any questions, T-Dub? It's just you and me, buddy. I think there's one more on there. But yeah, I think the if it comes off between the Chicago Sky and the Phoenix Mercury, seeing who's in the lottery, that would be pretty interesting to see because obviously the Sky hold the Mercury's draft pick, so they would be desperate to force the Mercury in there because they have the swap rights with them. So, all right, yeah. What I was saying before you just joined was basically that I thought the 4 best teams were basically Connecticut Sun, Liberty, and Las Vegas Aces. Um, and I thought in my mind, the Aces, as long as Chelsea Gray's coming back, they're the class act of the WNBA. And then I think the New York Liberty struggle with their backcourt because of Vandersloot, but and then I don't trust the Connecticut Sun in a series just because I think they can be shut down on offense. I just think um, yeah, I don't know if they have enough shooting, in my opinion. But I like the way they play. There's no doubt about that. I like the way they play. And then it's pretty much what I thought it would be. I think Atlanta Dream and the Dallas Wings are very similar to each other. Okay, good, G-Bone. Thank you for that. I think the Dallas Wings and the Atlanta Dream are very similar to each other. Yeah, I think they're both mirror images, and they're that 5-6 team. And I think fighting for the upper echelon spot will be between the Minnesota Lynx and Seattle Storm. So Minnesota Lynx have just a lot of good parts. I think Williams was a great signing. I think Alana Smith was a great signing, but um, I don't know if, and what I'm curious to see is if Nafisa Collier's upper echelon or not. That'll be the question to me is can Nafisa Collier take that next step up? I mean, she's really good player right now, and I think if she can take the next step up, and I think it was interesting when the Aces played them the other night in Minnesota. I think that was a statement game for them. I'm not surprised that they struggled against Atlanta because I think they were more focused on sort of letting the Lynx know, hey, we're here, and yeah, you're not coming to knock us around. I think that was definitely a statement game for them, in my opinion. So, and then with the Storm, I think they'll get better and better as the season goes along. Like I think Deacon Smith will get her shot. I think it'll slowly return to what it normally has been throughout her career. They have a lot of parts too, and I think it's pretty clear that top 5 they're all sort of elite. And I think Atlanta Dream and I think the Dallas Wings are just a step down, depending on if Satu Sabali comes back and what she looks like. But I think that's how it'll be. And then I think with the Dallas Wing or not Dallas Wings, I think with Phoenix, the Phoenix Mercury and Chicago Sky, I see them and the Indiana Fever. I think that's the three-way battle to stay out of the lottery. Um, I think Indiana Fever would not be too worried if they fell into the lottery. I think they would go, okay, we get one more part to put. We'll have our big three together. I'd be so fascinated. Like I said it before I cut it off, but I'd be so fascinated to see if they wound up with the number one pick again. Would they take Paige Beckers? Would you pair a Paige Beckers next to a Caitlin Clark? I don't know, that would be so interesting. How would Caitlin Clark feel about that? Are they not big enough to be in the same backcourt together? Is it basically if they had an opportunity to take her, let's say they wound up with the number 2 pick and the number 1 pick took Kiki Arioffen. That'll piss off UConn fans, but that's all right. Let's say it was a scenario where it was only Caitlin Clark they could take. Would they take her, or would they sort of go for like a athletic forward or something like that? Could you pair Caitlin Clark in the same backcourt with with Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers? I would be fascinated to see that because obviously Gino didn't want Caitlin Clark playing with Paige Beckers because Caitlin Clark supposedly wanted to go to UConn, but UConn never called, and Gino was like, I didn't call her because I didn't want, we were focused on Paige Beckers, which it's hard to argue at the time. She was the number one prospect. But the dream of putting them together in the backcourt, I wonder how it looked. Like it's just one of those dreams that you think, oh my God, that would be so wonderful to see. And then once you see it, it's like a nightmare. I'm not sure. Um, with the Dallas and the big game tomorrow, I think Chicago versus the Fever. I think why is LA losing? Why is LA losing? They have all the pieces. I just think it's youth. That's what I think because they do have all the pieces. The other thing is, I liked Ari McDonald playing more minutes the other night. Like that's why they got the victory over the Fever. She got hot. I don't know how sold I am on Lexi Brown as your point guard. So I just think they need to learn. I do like the fact that I know the usual point guard Clarendon's out, and that's allowing Ricky Jackson to play, and that's all you care about. You just want to get more parts, and they've been competitive. I think they were hurt a little bit. Yeah, you're. I think LA needs a point guard for sure. I think definitely they need a point guard. I'm Clarendon's fine. Like she's a journeyman player. She's very solid. I'd love to have her as my backup point guard, but she's not a starter. And the same thing with Ari McDonald. Like she can get hot. She reminds me a little bit of uh, Kennedy Carter. That little point guard that can go off and get really really hot. But I just don't think can't be that. The I think LA Sparks are definitely hoping to get Paige Beckers. I think that's who they'd love to get. And that would sort of run their team, and they'd feel like, okay, we've got Beckers, Brink, and Rickea Jackson, and that would be a nice little lineup. Because I still, um, Rickea Jackson, I think, is going to have growing pains this year. Like I think there'll be times where she doesn't look good, but man, she is going to be a pro. Like she just has the body of a pro, in my opinion. So and Chicago, I seem to irritate Chicago, but I like the Sparks' long-term future better than Chicago just because of the parts they have and that they can get more parts because they control their draft picks. That's why I think they're better off. I think Chicago would have been better off if they could have done it. If Chicago Sky were really keen on competing this year, then they really in my opinion, they needed to sign Williams, and they needed to get Williams, re-sign Courtney Williams, and and bring back Alana Smith and pair her with Angel Reese and drafted Rickea Jackson. I would have liked that much better than drafting Cardoso. If you were going to get Angel Reese, then I would have gotten I would have paired Rickea Jackson with her for sure. Yeah, Zia Cook. I just don't know. Like she got a few minutes last night. My feeling is I don't know if if Kurt Miller really likes her. I don't know because she hasn't been getting a lot of minutes, and it's clear that they like McDonald over her. And yes, I'm not sure if her shot's going to be good enough. I'm just not sure. And man, it takes so long for point guards to develop. I really think it takes 3 to 4 years for them to develop. That's why I think some of the teams like Dallas, who is it? Unzo, don't pronounce her name wrong, and then I'm going to mispronounce the other ones as well. Washington, getting a point guard from overseas that's played in Europe for 5 or 6 years. That's not a bad way to go. I think. I think that's much better because you need about 4 or 5 years in, and with the point guard, it is just so physical than what they're used to because everybody's big in the NBA and you're getting knocked around. And I think a good 5 years in Europe, and then you're really ready to go to take the physicality of the WNBA. I think that's what I would do. But the one thing I would say with Cook is that she should LA has nothing to lose. I think they need to be getting her more minutes to see who she is, what she is, because it's really a make or break year for her a little bit. And I would think they want to get her because right now it seems like she's buried on the bench. So I would like to see her getting 15 minutes a game. It was interesting when um um who else needs the ball more? Yeah, Zion needs the ball. Yeah, I just it's obvious that their trust is in McDonald, in my opinion. The one that interested me when Seattle played, I'm not sure if you watched it when Seattle played the Washington Mystics. Melbourne got a lot of minutes and she put up some numbers. I think she went for about 10 points or something like that. That must have been very tasty for her, seeing that she lost the battle out to Nika Mule and got sent there, and then to come back in your return game, I imagine Tebow did that as a favor to her. Like she is well, they have nothing to lose. Like I think Washington knows that hey, we're not going to win any games. Let's just blood Edward, get her in there, get as many minutes as we can, and get some lottery balls and see what we can do. I wonder if they're going to be able to trade off if they're going to get any assets for God, the center. I've forgotten her name now. God, somebody help me out. Who's the center for Washington who's retired with the bad back? What's her name? Oh, God, how did I lose her name in my mind? Yeah, she was a good point guard at South Carolina. I know. Yeah, Zaya was a good point guard, but that whole transition from the college to pro game, it is just a different world. It is, and to be honest, the SEC probably prepares her better than any league that you can be in college for sure. But it's just such a the girls in Europe that are playing all the time. That's the way. It's just very very hard to do. Yeah, the Liberty need a point guard. You're quite right, Rob. That's the problem, and that's the problem I see with the Liberty. I just don't see. Um, who would have been good for them, Rob? I don't know. Tell me if you think I'm wrong on this. I think Kennedy Carter would have been nice. I would have liked to have seen Kennedy Carter go to the Liberty because they sort of need that slasher that might be able to guard another slasher on the other end. I would have liked to have seen it a little bit, but they just need a different change of pace guard. I think the Liberty do, and I think a slasher is really going to give them trouble when they're in the playoffs because we know they got torched last time when they played the aces in the playoffs. What's changed? I mean, Vandersloot's only just gotten older, so I don't see how they're going to do that. I'm surprised. Did they have a chance? Did they have a chance to take Nika Mule in the draft? Did I think the Liberty had a chance to take her? Didn't they? Build players is different. CC looks small. 100%. Oh, the first. Hey, look at me. Hey, we're doing a live stream. I haven't talked about Caitlin Clark in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. I haven't talked about Caitlin Clark. How far are we into this live stream? I haven't brought up Caitlin Clark. It either means I'm a bad person or a good person. Most of the people here on this stream, I'm sick of hearing about Caitlin Clark. Yeah, it's just I don't think her hoops did a good thing about the transition of guards. It's tough. I mean, Kelsey Plum did nothing when she came in, and Kelsey Plum could score just like Caitlin Clark, and the physicality is so much more. I mean, Caitlin Clark's actually putting up good numbers for a rookie playing guard. I don't have any issues with her. So, um, yeah, the Liberty could have drafted Mule. Yeah, that would have been interesting. Deladon, thank you. Deladon. God, I'm old. Thank you. Thank you. So the Liberty could have drafted Mule. That would have been interesting. God, it would have saved me from doing that Seattle video that I still get torched about. I still get comments about how wrong I was. And I was. I eat it. But it just makes me laugh. Yes, I was 100% wrong. No, keep Carter Sheetown. Was coming to Cardoso. So is Cardoso? Has it been confirmed Cardoso's playing tomorrow or not? Is that I heard it? They mentioned on the broadcast tonight, but I haven't seen anything saying that she's officially playing. Is that definite or not? So good luck to her. I hope she is. I want to see her on the court. I hope that shoulder stays in. I hope she goes well. My hope is like she's a very hypermobile girl. You can tell the way she moves. She's very hypermobile. So hopefully it goes well for her. Kenny Carr would have been perfect. They have a rookie right now in Davis that's a slasher, but yeah, Sandy's not. Yeah, it was interesting. There's a her hoops. I love her hoops. I'm not sure if you're subscribed to their newsletter, but they did like a coaching hot seat, and they had what was it? They had Brondello. Where was Brondello on their coaching hot seat? Let me see on their thing. They had Sandy Brondello like number 4. Like they did a power ranking of who was on the coaching hot seat. And let's see, the hottest was Sandy Brondello 4, Noel Quinn 3, Eric Tybo 2, and Christy Sides 1. So and I agree with Sandy Brondello because with the Liberty, they have so much talent. It's either going to be, hey, you win us a championship, or they'll have to say, we have a problem here. What's the problem? It's the coach. That's always the way it goes. So I think Sandy Brondello definitely needs a championship. Let's see, what do we have here? Carter's got the quickest player in the league off the dribble. Yeah, Carter's off the dribble. The only thing that worries about Carter, man, she seems like she's always going to the floor. I'm worried about her health. She's always going to the floor hard, but I love her game. And I thought she got a raw deal with the Sparks. I thought she really got a raw deal. She had no chance because Derek Fisher was the coach. You had Liz Cambage there who was just losing her mind, and poor Kennedy was trying to rebuild her reputation after Atlanta, and then it was a disaster season. And because there were so many problems, they're like, okay, we'll get rid of Kennedy, which made no sense. Like Kurt Miller cutting Kennedy Carter was basically, hey, it's a culture thing. I'm going to bring in my culture and I'll draft Zaya Cook, and I don't want Kennedy around my. And I just because they were on the hook. They Kennedy's contract was guaranteed. I was like, why not bring her to camp, see if she has a good attitude. If she does, then let her play. I never understood the Sparks cutting her, and it was that one was. But anyway, I'm glad that Weatherspoon is giving her a shot, and I'm glad that she's flourishing because I like her. Yeah, with Peely tonight. Yeah, Peely was good. Yeah, she went off. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah, so I probably missed. I was preparing for this, so I didn't see the second highlights as much. But that's the hope for her. Like I've always said it. I don't know. It's probably I shouldn't be saying it, but I see her as Charles Barkley. she's she's female Charles Barkley in my mind, and that's probably the wrong thing to say. But that's Charles Barkley with a shot as well. Charles couldn't shoot outside. Let's see, what do we have here? I'm just going to start going through the comments. I like your comments. I'll be the Fever Liberty game on Saturday night. I'll be at the Fever Liberty game on Sunday night. So the Liberty do the are the Fever going back to back? I need to look at the schedule. So tomorrow the Fever obviously play Chicago, but no, that'd be good. No, I want to see that. I want to. And Boston, man, when the Liberty play the Fever, man, that's the one thing I'm noticing with the Fever is just Aaliyah Boston's not playing real well right now. Something about the season ain't hitting me. Maybe the college women ball was so much more exciting. The W it let me down this time. Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm happy with the WNBA right now. Like I'm because I'm interested in the teams that aren't good. Like I'm interested in seeing how the Sparks develop and how their rookies develop. And same thing, I'm interested to see if the Fever can stay out of the lottery because I know they're desperate to stay out of the lottery. The one I sort of grown at and watch is the Washington Mystics as well. I don't know about you, but I find the Sun, Connecticut Sun, are a hard watch. Like they're good, full credit to them, but they're just so grindy. I said it before in a live stream. They remind me of the Washington Bullets when they had like, it was like, oh God, it was like Jeff Ruland and stuff like that. And they would just grind teams and walk the ball up the floor. That's what it reminds me of a little bit. I struggle to watch the Sun and just something about it. Like I like Aaliyah Thomas because she's an irritant, but man, I can understand why people don't like her. That's for sure. Let's see, what is this? Did you talk about Elisa 20 points, 15 minutes? Yeah. See, I missed most of that because I was preparing for this thing. Like I saw the initial one she got, and if her shot's going in, yeah, I want to see it. Yeah, I was hard on her on the last live stream. I hope it goes out because I love Elisa Peely and I love Utah. I love the way that her coach plays at Utah and that. If I was, that was the one thing. Like people say I'm insane, but and God, everybody thinks I'm an idiot anyway. But if I was Sarah Strong, the school I'd be going to is Utah. Like if I'm a four, I would be going and UConn's fine. Don't yell at me, UConn, because their forwards get allowed to shoot from outside. But I still stand by it. I said if I was Angel Reese and I had one more year left, I would transfer to Utah and just be launching outside shots. All right. But yeah, you can laugh at me. Let's see. Can I think Peely's body will hold up just fine. Yeah, I think she knocks people around, and yeah. How many? What did Ionesco do today? Sorry, what did Melbourne do? I didn't watch. That was the game I didn't watch today. Did Melbourne get points today? Did she? Did she? Okay. Or which? What did she do? What were her numbers? Let me know. All right. Um, yeah, I think Peely's body will hold up fine in the W. Well, that's the question. Can she hold up not being tall? That's the question. That's my question. And is she athletic enough, not tall enough? That is my question. And we will find out in due course. And I when I watched early on in the season, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know if she's athletic enough to be short and play in the WNBA." That'll be clear. Let's see. What are you telling me here? Yeah, Fever plays Saturday at noon, Sunday, and so they have the back-to-back thing, do they? Okay, no worries. Yeah, that's going to be tough on them. That Sunday one in Brooklyn because they just seem to get abused inside, like they have their way with him. John Quall. That's what I thought. Chicago did better. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Did you see the last Caitlin Clark post? Yeah, yeah, it's she's just gonna eat. Everybody's coming for Caitlin Clark. It's mad. It's just like it's so funny because she's giving the league such a big platform, and she's got to be miserable. It's just got to be miserable. And these these rookies must be like, my God, how long is this season gonna go for? Because because it it's almost like an NBA season because they played 40 games in college and now another 40 in the WNBA. It is cruel, and plus you're just taking it from all sides. Yeah, Skylar Diggins Smith's not playing well. I think she'll return to the mean. I think Skylar Diggins Smith will return to the mean. Hot take for me, what is I'm not up on her hoops. So what does Courtney Williams make? What is her salary? I think Courtney Williams is about 160, 180. My question would be, would you rather Courtney Williams and her contract versus what is Diggins Smith on? Is Diggins Smith about 200 or 210? Like I wouldn't take Diggins Smith on a max contract. But I think Diggins Smith is clearly better than obviously Courtney Williams. But is she better enough in terms of contract and what you're giving out and flexibility? Because that's sort of the trade that Seattle and Minnesota are doing. And that'll be fun to watch those two teams because the Lynx have more depth because they have more player salary structure and a better structure than Seattle, who I don't think have quite the depth that the Lynx will have, and it'll be fun to watch that play out. Let's see. Isn't playing good. Let's see. Let's go more. Let's go these comments. I like these comments. These are really good. Connecticut makes me want to watch the W. Yes. Yeah. Connecticut is a hard watch, man. Like, unless you're a Connecticut fan, and if you're a Connecticut fan, you're like, why are you picking on my team? But man, I don't mean to pick on your team if you're a Connecticut fan, and I feel your pain. God, when I was in the '80s watching the Rockets with Moses Malone, I'm sure that guy used to miss like 3 shots a game. So he'd miss like 3 of his own shots to get offensive rebounds before he'd put it back in just to get his rebounding stats. But it was brutal. They'd walk up the court, throw it into Mo, and it was sluggish, ugly basketball. Um, yeah, Boston isn't aggressive enough. I just think they don't know what they're doing. There was one last, I'm not sure if you saw it, like all these games blend together to me, but Caitlin Clark went behind her back and threw it to Boston at the elbow. Like they did a little pick and roll. Clark got it to Boston straight away, and Boston had the elbow shot, and then she hesitated. She hesitated. It was like, "Oh, you gotta bury," and then I think she still took it and made it, but it's like, man, you cannot hesitate. You have an open shot, you take it. She has a nice shot as well. She buried a couple of threes the other night, and it's just like, I think she just needs to play loose and easy. Just thinks like she's thinking too much a little bit. That's my opinion. Um, yeah, Connecticut doesn't. Yeah, we picked on Connecticut enough. Boston, yeah, Boston hasn't played. What do we got here? I'm an old head too. I remember the old Bullets. Wasn't it Jeff Ruland and who else was on that team? Yeah, old Atlantic. And then Moses Malone went to like the Philadelphia 76ers. It was just those teams were just brutal to watch. Oh my God. Utah, the Pac-12 is gone. Yes. So Utah's what are they now? They're what are they? They're in the Big 12. What God, what is it called? Is it the Big 12 they're in? And then it's the Big 10, we got the Big 12, the SEC. So Utah is now in the Big 12. Yeah, so God bless the Pac-12. Poor Pac-12. That's unfortunate. But yes. Boston isn't aggressive enough, has no bite. Yeah. I just yeah, I just think she's finding her way. I think she'll get better as the season comes along. Is this one. Melbourne is better than Mule. That trade puzzles me. Now, I can't say. I'm very hesitant to say what I think on that one. Other people have said to me, "Ah, it was in the bag because, who's come on is the team owner, Sue Bird. Did she have an inside to it? And is that why she's on the team?" I don't want to say that, but man, it's hard not to compare the two and just say, man, because as well, who did they have to cut Joyner to get her in on the team? That was the one that hurt them because they had to cut Joyner from memory and to fit Mule in, and then they have Williams there as well, and then she couldn't even play because of her visa issues, so it made no sense to me. But if I take a shot at Nika Mule, it's going to be I'm bitter because I got my video wrong, and my video was wrong because I thought that's why she was going to be cut for sure. Um, what is this? Right. Mario should have went to Utah prior to W undersized 100%, 100%. And LSU fan will kill me, but man, if you're undersized, that would be the place to go. I mean, that's why Elisa Peely's got drafted. I mean, she maxed out her talent at Utah. She wasn't doing much at USC, and that display that she could shoot outside, that's why she got drafted, basically. Um, let's see. Peely's a dog. She was physical. Yes, she was. I used to love Utah when it was such a shame when God, I'll butcher her name. Neepkins got injured with her foot injury. That just ruined their season because then they just focused on Peely and they had no chance. And even with it, I'm not sure if you watched the game when Utah played South Carolina. Utah gave South Carolina probably one of the better games they had all season, and they were just stretching around, and nobody had any answer for Peely. Like Cardoso got a block on her, but there were a few times where Peely got off on Cardoso. Like she did a nice, beautiful post. It was a hard shot, and she made it. And then she took Watkins. I think Watkins got a block on her as well, but she got her points. And then like in the before the fourth quarter interview, they go to Dawn Staley. God, I love Staley. She just tells it. She's like, we can't stop her. We putting everybody on her. We put everybody on the team on her. And we can't stop her. So, yeah. No, sorry. This is supposed to be WNBA, but that one made me laugh. Atlanta Dream, Sun Mystics are my least favorite teams to watch. Yeah, I would agree. I have hope for the Atlanta Dream. I have hope for the Atlanta Dream. Sun, yeah. Mystics, yeah. I agree with that. 100%. Yeah, I think I said that as well. Who's your favorite team to watch, though? Who's your favorite team to watch? You tell me who your favorite team is to watch. I have mine, but you let me know. Indiana defense so much worse without, yeah. Fagbinlay, yes. Am I saying it right? God, I shouldn't pronounce it. Fagbinlay, I think it's how you pronounce it. Yeah, that one hurts. Like I was like, oh, that's a one in the game where she first broke out. I was like, oh, that's just a one hit wonder. But no, she's been their best post player, and that is definitely going to hurt them, no doubt. What is this? Lynx two don't care for them. I like the Lynx. I like how they spread out teams. I like watching Nafisa Collier. I like the way the Lynx operate. So we will. We will respectively, what is it? Respectfully disagree with you. Stedman won, so no harm. You got to like who you like, but yeah, I like watching the Lynx play. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. What do we go? I got some Melbourne news. Yes, Melbourne took over the point guard Mystics, breaking Nescu's ankle. Really, I want to see that. Okay. 11 points, 4 assists. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Did she have a lot of turnovers or not? That's good for her. I like Melbourne. Like I say, I go to here to Canberra Capital games, and I mean, WNBA is not the highest quality league, clearly. All right, but it's good. It's good. Like the good thing about the WNBL here in Australia, the games are spaced out, so they get a chance to prepare for each other. It's a fun little league. But like when Ari McDonald came over, like she dominated. Nobody could stop Ari McDonald. It sort of gives you the idea of it. But no, really enjoyed watching her play. Like I hope nothing for the best of her. And yeah, I probably had a rooting interest that she would make the team versus Mule, which probably impacted my video, truthfully. Satu, haven't heard her name in a while. Satu Sabli, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, it's her shoulder. Sabali, the wing says Satu will be back after the Olympics, which might be optimistic. I'm not sure. I'm curious to see what happens. Usually, again, reckless speculation on my part. If you don't like the reckless speculation, I think she had a labral tear, like she had her surgery. That's generally a 6 to 9 month recovery. So in the timeline, it might be close enough if Dallas is still in it for her to come back before the playoffs. What is this? If Dallas gets Satu Howard back, why can't they compete? They could easily be 6-0. Yeah, true. Getting all the parts together. I don't know. Just I'm probably biased, but Ariki Agumawale is my best player. Always makes me nervous because she's so inefficient. Pam and eggs. What do I think of Kurt Miller? Um, I think he's better than Derek Fisher. How about that, Pam and eggs? I think he's a lot better. I think he's a professional coach that prepares his teams well. I'm curious. Some say he didn't coach well with the Sun. I think he did well with the talent he had. He was the president and GM of that team and did well with them. And so I am going to withhold judgment to see what he does because I didn't think their offense with the Sun was very creative and things like that. I'm not really impressed by the offense and everything so far that the Sparks are running, but then he doesn't have a lot of parts to work with. But if I was a Sparks fan, I would be happy that Kurt Miller's there. They have a GM there, and I think they look the best in terms of a stable organization that they've looked in a long, long time, especially after the Derek Fisher years. I would just be happy with it for sure. Jeff Rulin, that's right. Jeff Malone. Yeah, Dan Renfeld. Yeah, the old Bullets team. Yes, bring back the Bullets. Moses Malone and Dr. J. All right, okay. I got some old people on this call. Yes, Moses and Dr. J. What was it? 4-4-4-4. They lost the one to Milwaukee. How they lost the one to Milwaukee? I think Milwaukee had a good center, I remember. But yeah, Mo Malone, love him. All right, he's my man. May he rest in peace. Let's see. Why Amore didn't leave college? She's definitely good enough, the league player, that I wish she came. Man, I don't know. I don't know. If you're a small point guard, it is a tough way to make a living to be a 5'6" point guard in the WNBA. Like her shot is really, really good, but it is tough, tough, tough to be a 5'6". I'm not saying you won't get minutes and stuff like that, but it's hard to be a starter. Why not? She's Australian. She's living over there. She's having a great time. I think she just evaluated, man, I like playing for Kenny Brooks. He's a legend. I'll go see a different part of the country, have another fun year, making friends and having a good time. And what's wrong with that? Instead of doing the grind, the WNBA will be there in a year's time, and that makes sense to me. So 100%. That's what I think she's doing. That's why she didn't leave college, in my opinion. What do we have here? I think Paige Becker's the same way. It'll be there. Uh, you know. and there's no protection in the WNBA. I heard some people say, "Oh my God, if she tears up her God, did I do this in a video? I'm not sure. She tears up her knee, she status." Well, what does it matter? The rookie contracts in the WNBA are not protected, so it makes no difference. The only thing I was saying was in terms of her being drafted, I thought she might come out because she'd be the two. I thought that she might want to be who drafted number two. It was the Sparks. I thought she might come out because she wanted to be in LA. But no, she wanted to go back to UConn, be with her friends, and play, and maybe hopefully have an injury-free year with AZ Fudd, and hopefully they get that. Hopefully they get that. They deserve it, or I don't know if they deserve it, but it would be nice to see them being injury-free for a year. So good luck to them. Let's see, what do we got? The next one. Love CC, but think she has a bad temper. Kind of turns me off from her. Yeah, I think all that got glossed over. She can be very pouty. Like people complained about that technical in the national championship game. I mean, it was ref bad and everything else, but yeah, she threw the ball away. She can be very pouty and petulant and stuff like that. But I think about it. How old is she? She 21, 20. What is she? 21, I imagine. So my God, when I was 21, God, I wouldn't want cameras on me and saying what sort of person I was when I was 21, because God, no. And especially being a guy, that's why insurance rates suck until we're 25, no doubt. So, yeah, I give her the benefit of the doubt. I think she's handled it pretty well. But yeah, I think she is what I think she is. I think she's a perfectionist, and when it doesn't go right, I think she's tough on herself and everybody else. And I think that's why Lisa Bluter did a really good job on her. You could see her development as she developed in college. She got less pouty, better teammate, and everything else. And that's all you hope in your players is they develop and change as they go through college. And I think she's a work in progress. God knows we all are. God knows I am, and I'm an old man. Peely was ranked too low in the draft. She should have been no, no. Sorry, Felicia. I can't give you that one. All right. No, 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 no. Peely, hopefully, she might wind up being gold. You could be totally right. If she has that inside outside game and can rebound as a matchup nightmare, then it's gold. And, um, but in terms of the sure things, the 6'7" player is going to be a sure thing. Like at the very least, let's say Cardoso is a bust, you know that she will be able to be in the game for 10 minutes a game, clog up the middle, take fouls, block shots, alter the inside, and control the inside. With Peely, we don't know what her long term is, in my opinion. She might be gold and be able to play, or she might be too short. We will know in about 2 or 3 years. I think she sort of went about the right place, in my opinion. With all due respect, yeah, I'll disagree, and hey, we can disagree. What is this? I hope Chicago draft Neepkins to help Mabry with shooting next year. Neepkins, yeah, yeah, we'll see. I was sort of looking at that. God, Athletic had like a draft thing for next year. I still think Kiki Arioff will be the number one pick, but after that, I'm not real sure. I need to look at who's coming out and stuff like that. Disruptive one for the Atlanta Dream. I don't really rate Haley. I haven't seen any improvement yet. She can't shoot. How are you going to be a point guard if you can't shoot? That's my thing with Haley Jones. I don't know what she is. If you can't shoot from outside, what are you? You know, you want your point guard to double down on the post. We can kick it out to you and you can nail the jumper. Like she can take people off. What I see is she can take people off the dribble, and impressive for a big, how well she can dribble and handle the ball. But because she can't space, it really limits what she can do, in my opinion. But hey, that's my opinion. But my under 10 teams is undefeated. I will let you know. All right. So my opinion is very impactful. Let's see. What is this? The Atlanta Dream don't really no, we've done that one. Let's see. Links are nice. Yeah, I like the neat links too. I like them. I like Cheryl Reeves. I like how she runs that organization. I like what they do. The Ozzy Alana Smith and links is yeah, she is because she's 6'4". She can shoot and stretch. And I keep on banging on it, and Chicago hates me for it. But no way they should have let her get away. Like in my opinion, I'll say this, Patrick. I don't know if you agree or not, but man, that would have been a fun team if you had Alana Smith at center, and I know they have Williams as well. But intermixing those two with Angel Reese, then you have that inside outside. It makes Reese more playable, and then that team could switch 1 through 5, and you draft Rakia Jackson. You have that. I would love that team. Not only that, if you would have kept Courtney Williams, would have loved it, loved it, loved it. Yeah, that would have been awesome. So you have Courtney Williams at the point, Mavry off guard, and then you'd have Rakia Jackson and Alana Smith and Angel Reese, and you could switch almost 1 through 5, and eventually you could have Rakia playing off guard if she develops that way. But would have loved that team. That's what I thought they should have done. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but that's what I would have done. Mystics are definitely tanking for Paige. Yeah, they would love that, wouldn't they? And she might like playing on the East Coast. I just don't know with God, with Tebow, Eric Tebow and Mike Tebow. Like, I think they're good basketball guys, and he drafts well. Not sure about Eric Tebow as a coach, but I mean, obviously doesn't have much to work with this. But the whole thing of your dad being GM, I don't know. It's just the whole, yeah. What do you? I don't know. Just it makes me nervous, that whole thing when the GM son's coach. I mean, oof, no, I don't know. Just when they did that, everybody was really supportive of it and everything else. And I know the guy Eric Tebow has had opportunities to go other places reportedly, but yeah, just I don't know. Taking over for dad, like wasn't it DePaul did that? Wasn't it like Joey Meyer took over for his son or something, like Joey Meyer Jr. took over for I can't remember it. It was so long ago, but I remember DePaul. Ray Meyer, I think Ray Meyer retired and Joey Meyer took over. And Joey Meyer was a hell of a recruiter, but he just really wasn't a great coach from memory. But God, I'm showing my age. If Paige came out, do you think Dunn would be taking a chance on drafting her? She's a better point guard than Boston and Clark. That would be the $1,000,000 question. If Paige came out, would you take and let's say by Indiana had the number 1 pick, who do you take? Do you take Kiki Ariafen and try to pair her with Boston, or do you take Paige Beckers and pair her with Caitlyn Clark? And would there be enough ball for the two of like I think I think Paige Beckers can fit in with anybody, but would you want those two together, or would they be too picked on defense, and would that just be doomed to disaster? But I love the scenario as that would be fun. That would be good for my channel. God knows I'd be doing videos on that one. That would be epic to do. Um, as well, what that reminds me of, I think what you'd have to do. It reminds me a little bit of the obviously, I'm formerly born and bred in Houston, but do you remember when the Rockets, when they went back to back number ones and they had the chance to get Akeem Olajuwon, and supposedly the trade was on the table. I think the trade was on the table to trade Ralph to Chicago for Michael Jordan. And in hindsight, that looks good. Bill Fitch, the coach. Oh my God! Again, we need to get back on task, but he took Rodney McRae over Clyde Drexler. How can you do that? How can you take Clyde Drexler as part of Phi Slamma Jamma and Bill Fitch, the coach, takes Rodney McRae, who was a fine player. Love Rodney McRae, but he couldn't shoot. Oh my God! Anyway, I'm off track. Here we go. Let's get back on track. Let's see. The player that was ranked too low was Angel Reese. I think she's I think she's ranked where she should have been. All right. I don't. I think she should have been taken. The one I think that got taken too high was J.C. Sheldon, in my opinion, just because guards take time to develop. I don't know how she'll develop, and she might prove me wrong. The thing with Angel Reese is she can play and she will be a good player. And the thing that she does well, she can switch 1 through 5, and she can rebound, and she plays hard on defense. And if that's all you can do, that's great. And she will be a very steady performer. But to be that next level player, she needs to be able to have a little bit of a shot to stretch teams out, or they just pack it in. And if she's not that, then what she needs to be is either NBA Draymond Green, be that impactful in terms of her rebounding and defense, or almost like be a point forward like Alyssa Thomas. And hell, she might wind up being that. I could see her wind up being that. And you could be right. She might turn into Alyssa Thomas and just almost run the point and dominate things. I know I get told at nauseum Angel Reese was a point guard in high school. I know that. And if she can run the point and get her handle good enough to run the point over time, then great. Be a bully like that and work it like Alyssa Thomas does and just be a matchup nightmare. Um, is Peely trending on Twitter? Is she? Oh my God. Maybe I should do a video on her. Yeah, I've got a lot of B-roll on Yeah, Peely. Maybe I should do one on Lisa Peely tonight. Okay, I'll think about that. Thanks for the heads up, Patrick. I need to check the analytics. There we go. Nepotism. Let's see. Chapter one. I agree. Angel was ranked too low as well. Yeah. I it's about sure things in the draft. Yeah, yeah. I would say I would have taken her before Sheldon. The question, and if I take her before, here's a question for both of y'all, Felicia, and who else? Disruptive one. Would you take? Do you think Angel Reese should have been taken before Edwards? That's the question. That's the one, because essentially Edwards was taken before her. And do you think Washington regrets that? And would you take it? I would take Edwards first, and don't come at me with UConn bias. It's not a UConn. I couldn't care. No, it's not a UConn bias. I take Edwards just because she has the potential to have more of an all around game, because she can hit that shot sometimes from the elbow and can drive. Angel Reese can drive, but I think the ability to hit that outside shot on the elbow really gives it to her. But between the two, you can't have it all, because I think Angel Reese is more of a dynamic player than Aaliyah Edwards. And I think you might be right. In time, Angel Reese might be better than Aaliyah Aaliyah Edwards. But if I was drafting and I was Washington, I would take Edwards over Angel Reese. I'm not sure if y'all feel that way. And it's a debate where you can have till the cows come home, and we'll know in 5 years. But yeah, that's where I would go with it. And a lot of times people get really hurt when I say that. And it's not that I don't like Angel Reese. I cannot stress how much I would love to play with Angel. Not that we'd ever play together, all right. But I love a player that loves to rebound. Moses Malone was my favorite player of all time, growing up. And that's what she is. She plays defense and she rebounds. What more do you want from somebody? That's the two most unselfish things you can do in basketball. So when people talk about Angel Reese being selfish and all of this, I'm like, man, she's a hard worker and she does what she needs to do. So I love Angel Reese. I just don't know in the modern game, which is cruel, which is a cruel, cruel game. I can't remember when it was the Memphis. Was it Memphis, the basketball team? I can't remember what their Memphis Grizzlies, because they came up. They were expansion from Vancouver. That's why they're the Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies. I remember they were playing Golden State. It was a tight series, and then they just decided not to guard one of their players who couldn't shoot. And it was cruel. It was unbelievable. They just said, basically, we're not going to guard you, and just left him off. And it was basically, them playing 4-on-5 essentially. And that's how cruel the can be. So if you have a hole in your game, it can be really exposed. That being said, I don't think it's as much in the WNBA, because it seems like the WNBA is more of a pick and roll league to me, uh, in terms of the other way. I want to see somebody that's really nepotism. That's right. That's what I was saying with Tebow. Exactly right. 100% right. It screams of nepotism, but I'm sure there's all sorts of nepotism in sport. Isn't Belichick's weren't his sons on the coaching staff? Like, you see these coaches with nepotism all the time. Who's the Iowa football coach as well? Like, nepotism is rampant in coaching. So I don't know what you do about it. Um, you trade down if you don't want Page number one. You don't draft another player. Maybe if you can get parts, but you got to get somebody. You got to get the draft. I see, in my opinion, and again, this is opinion. I'm undefeated in under tens as a basketball coach, as I love to say. But I think they undervalue the draft just because you have control of those players for 4 years, and if you get a starter like Rakia Jackson is going to be a bargain over the next 3 years, and that's why if you're in the top four, that's why I think it was crazy that Phoenix uh, gave swap rights to their pick if it's a chance they're in the lottery, because basically you're giving up a starter, and I think that's crazy in my opinion. Um, okay, let's see what else. The problem with Peely wasn't getting enough credit at Utah. She's a very well-rounded player and showed tonight no more in college. Yeah, the question is if there's somebody really tall and they're quick. So I want to see when they go against Chicago with Peely, how she goes against Chicago, because Angel Reese, I imagine he'll throw Reese on her. Reese is long, which might give her trouble. I remember when they went against each other in the the NCAA tournament, the one the LSU won. They sort of canceled each other out. Really, the refs won that matchup from memory because they were both on the bench the whole time. Unfortunately, that's college basketball for you. But yeah, the question with Elisa Peely, if she has somebody long and athletic, will she get her points or not? That's what I want to see. The Twin Towers. Oh, here we go. The Twin Towers of Houston. Yes, Ralph. Poor Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson. He's so underrated. If he would have been in today's basketball, Ralph would have gotten so much love. Everybody, I remember I used to be, Ralph, how can you be taking an outside shot? How dare you? You've got to take the 2 point. You need to post up, Ralph. Two's more than three. Oh my goodness. Angel over Aaliyah Edwards and JC Sheldon. Okay, yeah. And you might be right. Time will tell. We'll see what sort of players they are. Uh, Angel Reese has that thing. I don't know what that thing is, but she she's dynamic. When I think of Aaliyah Edwards, and I like Aaliyah Edwards, UConn will watch this and kill me, but I think of Aaliyah Edwards as more mechanical. God, there was a guy for the Atlanta Hawks. He was a big, muscly guy, not Tree Rollins. He used to play with Tree Rollins. He looked like RoboCop. That's what I think of with with Aaliyah Edwards. She's just sort of RoboCop moving, just doesn't move quite as nicely as Angel Reese and fluid. That saying, Angel Reese is always off balance and falling on the floor, but it seems like she does it with style and always seems to make those falling away shots. Yeah, but I would definitely I would have taken Angel Reese over JC Sheldon. I know Dallas fan gonna think I'm killing them, that's for sure. Video idea: revisit 23 WNBA draft. How does it look in a year? Good idea. No, I like it. Are you talking about 23 or 24? But I'll look at 23. Oh, the 23 draft. That's gonna. If you're talking about the 23 draft, I think that's gonna be painful for me because I think I have the WNBA video of why the Minnesota Lynx should, or no, what was it? Why the Fever should draft Diamond Miller over Aaliyah Boston. That was in my early YouTube phase. I was trying to be contrarian, but I did believe it. I had some good arguments in that. That it's hard to dominate as a big. I still believe that, and really Boston and both Miller are not playing well. Well, Miller, obviously, she's out with her knee. Oh, on Miller, on Diamond Miller, she has a meniscus injury. It sounds like she had the surgery. She'll be out for. It sounds like she'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. So she'll come back, and I think that's important for the Lynx because I think she gives them the athleticism they need. Because I think they missed her when they played versus the Aces. I thought she would have been a nice little matchup for Young. I thought that's where they missed having her there, as I thought she would have given Young all sorts of problems because she is so long and she is athletic, man. I hope her knees. And the other thing is the knee that she had the scope on, it was a different one that she had from the off season. So hopefully it's just like a little tear that's been trimmed and she's coming back. But that's sort of the idea that Miller gave. She basically said, yeah, that was a scope. Wasn't anything ugly. It wasn't anything that wasn't unexpected. It was the best case scenario. So hopefully she'll be back. What is this? Video idea revisit. Yes, yes. And we'll revisit that draft. Yes, and I'll have to live down my. I picked Miller over Boston. Although I should do it now actually because Boston's not playing real well. Angel needs a little more post moves. Yeah, layup package, mid range. Because she beast on the boards and defense, crazy motor, 100%. Has a crazy motor. She's awesome. And she has a nice little hook shot as well. I like that little hooky she does. There was one, I'm not sure if you watched the game the other night, and I don't know who the commentators are. The two commentators for the Chicago game the other night, and he was like, Angel had came down court and they gave her like a little she was on the baseline and she had it. It was the open shot and she didn't. She sort of bullied her way in there and then got the hook shot. The commentator's like, what I like about Angel is she knows what shots are in her bag and what she can do, and she plays within herself. And I was like, yeah, I agree with that. I like that commentator for the Chicago games. I don't know who the heck it is, but I like him actually. Is anyone knows who he is? I like that one. I like the guy for the LA Sparks as well. Let's see. Leah Edwards is overrated. Hey, okay. I don't know about that. I mean, I think she. We'll see. We'll see in time. I think she has a very solid all around game and does every. I don't think this is what I think. I think if you're playing a team that has Aaliyah Edwards on it, you're not going into the game going, "Oh my God, we're gonna attack Aaliyah Edwards," but at the same time, I don't think you're going, "Oh my God, we fear Aaliyah Edwards. She's gonna tear us up, and my God, how are we gonna, how are we gonna stop Aaliyah Edwards?" No, basically, she's that solid player that's not gonna hurt you and will help you on occasion, but she's not gonna be your number one probably. I don't see her being Nafisa Collier to be determined. I mean, I don't like limiting people's future, but yeah, I think she's good. I think it's a really line ball. We'll see in a few years who's better, Angel Reese or Leah Edwards. It'll be interesting to see, and it's very polarizing if you choose one over the other. Sky versus Sparks, they gave Angel all the space in the mid range, and she couldn't shoot. She had a rough offensive night. Yeah, she did. There was one. I'm not sure if you remember this. Do you remember when she was coming down court? Like she was almost leading the fast break, and she had like a it was inside the free throw line, and then she passed it out. And I was like, oh, yeah, why? Yeah, you tell me this disruptive one. Angel Elias Free has been awful in the W. Not sure. Yeah, how can you shoot free throws in college and then get to the WNBA and not shoot free throws? Is it just lack of confidence, or is it she's so fatigued from running up and down that's hurting her shot, or did she lose her routine? Because she was, where was she in college? I think she was around 70% or 70. I know it wasn't a problem at UConn, so maybe she needs Gino to come in and take over. Yeah, that maybe I'll do that video. Gino Auriemma is going to the Washington Mystics to take over as coach. It's a joke, all right? It's a joke before UConn yells at me. I've always said if I created a team in my college, my top three, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Elisa Peely. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I would love Angel. And what I loved Angel Reese, LSU, last year when she plays the five, great, and put shooters all around her, and then your team is fine. That's the problem that's why it's sort of like my hope was Angel Reese would go to you. Angel Reese was never going to Utah, but it would have been fun if she would have because again, she would have been working on the one part of her game that needs work on, and just I want to see people. I want to see shooters surrounding Angel Reese. That's what I wanted when she was at LSU. Get your shooters, surround her, and let's go. Where they just the Mulkey way is we're just going to pound the ball in there, and again, Mulkey's won more championships than I've won. So who am I to call out Kim Mulkey? And I'm not calling you out, Kim Mulkey. All right. Reese is too small for Peely. Reese is 6'3". What are you talking about? Reese is 6'3". She's like 6'2", 6'3". Peely said, I'm what did she say? I put it in one of my videos. I'm 6 foot on a good day. Like Peely's not very big. Peely is not very big. That's the worry with her again. I hope I'm wrong and she gets her shot off. People don't realize, like Charles Barkley, he was like 6'4", which is ridiculous. Yeah, how he played power forward in the NBA at 6'4", that guy had incredible athleticism. Like to be able to dunk the way he could and everything else, that's underrated, and that's how he made up for his lack of height. I don't know if Peely has the athleticism. I know she can move people out of the way. She has so much leverage, and she just bullies into them and they're gone, but I don't know if she will have the athleticism. We will see. We will 100% see, but I'm not saying it's Kevin Willis from Atlanta, the RoboCop. Yeah, he got into the weights, Jan Michael, didn't he? Kevin Willis, yes. That's who I think. If I was doing that video, remember I did the video, I'm not sure if you watched my content. I did one about who the college players remind me of, and that's who Aaliyah Edwards reminds me of is Kevin Willis, RoboCop. They just seem very mechanical, in my opinion. Oh God. Well done to you. Oh man, I need you to be my fact check guy. Yes. Yeah, I lost the NBA like around the nine. Once I started having kids, I lost the NBA. I'm like, oh my God, I've got kids now. I can't be watching 82 games. That's why I get so angry at the WNBA when they increase their games. I want WNBA. I want the games to be like, I want them to have like 26 games, like a home and home, and then we get in the playoffs, and then your season's done before Labor Day, before college football starts. That's my idea, and they still make a lot of money, and everybody's happy. But maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. What else do we have? I like Diamond Miller, but she has injury issues. Yes, she does. That's the thing. I worry about her knees, and she had the knee issues at Maryland as well. So that is the fear, isn't it? Um, yeah, crap. Xbox services are down. Okay. What does that mean? Okay, sorry. Let's see. If the is the is the physicality getting banged up in the post play for the W affecting Edwards free throws? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It would just seem like you reset the free throw line, you do your routine. I just can't imagine you're just like, oh my god, I'm so banged up here, I can't shoot my free throw. I could see it maybe with fatigue. You're running. I would think it would be we're speculating. So hell, let's speculate. If I was speculating, I would say it was more fatigue. Man, I'm running up and down the court and I'm gassed and I'm not really focused on my free throws. If I always have to guess on it, that would be it. Or it could just be simple if I've missed my last four free throws and what I'm thinking of is God, don't let me mix. You've done this before. I've missed this one, and then the basket just looks so small. Versus those games where you make your first three and you're just like, man, everything I throw up is going to go in. I wish I had the confidence of Arike Ogumawale in the shots she takes. I do. I do. All right. We've hit an hour. I think I've probably talked too much. Any last questions or anything else anybody have for me? Um, I guess uh, just the last thing for tomorrow's game. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Chicago and the Fever play. I think that will be a fun matchup. As I think these guys do the Commissioner Cup. I like this comment. Do the Commissioner Cup games count against the regular season? Yes, yes. If anybody can tell me what the hell the Commissioner Cup game is and what it means and why they do it, it's crazy to me. It's one of my things. I hate the Commissioner's Cup. It means nothing. Like the players don't even care. I saw Tarasi and Bird laughing about how ridiculous it is. The whole Commissioner's Cup thing is so crazy. What are you doing there? If they want to do something outside of that. And this isn't me being negative on the WNBA. This is me being negative on the Commissioner Cup, right? And I would say if it was me, I would have um um yeah, but who cares about yeah, is it the commission yeah. Here tell me, would you rather Commissioner Cup or this? I would like a knockout tournament. All right, just a knockout tournament. So in Australia, what they do, they have something called the Magic Round here, where all the teams go to one location for a weekend, right? And they go to Brisbane, and all the teams. It's not a tournament, but all the teams play up in one location, and all the fans go there for one game. Could you imagine if they had the WNBA Rainbow Tournament Round, where it's just a single elimination tournament, and they play it out over a weekend or 5 days, and the winner of the tournament gets a lottery pick. And it doesn't even have to be high odds. Maybe they can just give it ridiculously bad odds. Like, you have a 5% chance of winning a lottery. But if you win it, the players get their bonus money, and we can call it the commissioner championship. If they need to have commissioner in it, call it the commissioner championship, right? But hey, you but as well, when you win that, you get a 5% or a 3% chance of winning the lottery. You get a ball in the lottery set if you like. And I reckon fans would be into that, just hoping that their team wins it and gets a little chance of getting that lottery. And they could even put a proviso, hey, if you win the championship or if you're in the top four, then you'll be lower on the lottery. Or I'm sure they could do something, but that would draw interest for fans because fans care about that stuff and having hope. That gives you hope that, oh, we're bad, but we care about this more than anything. And a lot of times, the really good teams, I'm sure they're not that worried about getting the number one pick because the players, I mean, that's competition for their job, basically. So I'm sure they're not like, oh my God, we need to win this number one draft pick so I can have somebody come and compete and take my job away from me. So, there we go. Who was it? Who went to the lottery this year? Was all excited. Was it somebody for the Fever that went for the lottery and they wound up getting cut? I think one of those players went to the lottery and they wound up on the cutting floor, probably due to the lottery pick. Um, all right, but yes, the Sky versus the Fever. I think this is a big game because the Fever are now going to start to play the middle class teams, and this is really going to determine if they truly are a lottery team or not. Because the really bad loss on their resume right now is the loss that they had to the Sparks. And I'm sure they can say to themselves, we lost to the Sparks because McDonald got off and that's it. Now we need to start winning against the middle class, getting, the occasional win versus the Dallas Wings or whatever. Yeah, Fair. Deasia Fair. Was it Fair that went to the lottery and got cut? Yeah, okay. There we go. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see Chicago Sky and I want to see Indiana Fever and I'm not a drinker, but my God, I'm sure college kids will play a drinking game anytime Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark is mixed, or anytime we have to see the clip of this. Oh my God, you take a shot. I can see you'd have a good drinking game with that. It would be ridiculous, actually, because we are going to see clips of that over and over again. We're going to get the commentators say, a lot was made of that. A lot was made of that whole situation. But these two really love and respect each other and blah, 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 blah. You watch. Somebody's gonna have to do a diatribe on this because we can't have any sort of hate going on in the WNBA. We all must love each other. And it's like, no, you know, embrace the hate. I did a video a while back where during one of the games, they were talking about how much Stewart and Asia Wilson like each other, and they don't like to be pitted against each other, and uh, they don't like the idea that people try to narrative it's Asia versus Brianna Stewart. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Haven't y'all ever watched wrestling? That's what it's all about, man. Like teams hating each other is what rivalries are built on. I mean, that's what makes it so good that LSU and South Carolina that they fought don't like each other. That's why everybody's going to be watching the next South Carolina LSU game. So I that's why I was laughing after that whole thing broke out. I was like, I'm not clutching my pearls here. Give me the hate. If I would love it for Caitlin Clark to finally come out and say, yeah, that really pissed me off when Angel Reese mocked me in the final, and I'm really glad I knocked her out. But no, we have to all be too nice. You can't say what we want to say. I'd really love that though, and I think it would add to the game as well. That's why I did my video on Tarasi. Reality bites, and I was fine with Tarasi saying what she said. I thought it was fantastic, and she's right as well. But give me petty feuds any day of the week. I'm here for it. It's good for my content, that's for sure. That's probably why I'm such a negative person. I've been told on my comment section. But no, give me petty all day long. But yes, I've gone way too long. Thanks so much for the 14 or 15 people that were watching this. I really did enjoy it. Your questions were great. It was really good. I just love responding to your rapid fire questions. They were really, really good. Let me know this. Just a question. Would you want me to do a college live stream? Like, would you want a day where I talk about women's college basketball, like the major ones like UConn and UCLA and all of those ones? Or would you rather this just stick to WNBA or not? I don't mind either way. I was just wondering if people are into that or just more keep this for WNBA. The problem with the WNBA is if you keep up with the WNBA, I don't have time to make content almost. That's it's yeah, it's the W's in season tournament. Yeah. What Patrick? What's the W? It's the W's in season tournament. Are you talking about the Commissioner Cup? Are you talking about okay? And let me answer these before I go. So it's the W in season tournament. Yeah. So you liking my idea, Patrick, or not? I don't know. Okay. And then are you yes that you want me to do college content as well? Um, and disruptive one. What are you saying? I am more of a college fan, so yeah. Okay, maybe I'll do a live stream on college and just shoot it. Listen, there's so many teams out there that the only thing I don't want imposter syndrome. Like, if you're a fan of Indiana, you'll know more about Indiana than me. I know UConn pretty well. I think I have a fair idea of South Carolina. I have a fair idea of UCLA, maybe a little bit of Ohio State, but there's so many teams. I'm just worried somebody's going to ask me something I have no idea on. But yeah, I tend to like the college stuff better as well. I like the coaches in college. I find them more interesting. I don't know. I like the whole thing, but I'm a supporter of the WNBA as well. All right, I'll get off. I'm rambling. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for joining. Take care of yourselves. Good night.